Hey, everybody. Ready to dive into something I think we all deal with. It's retail banking. And those sometimes wonderful, sometimes, incredibly frustrating experiences we have with them.
Yeah.
We're looking at this article called Why Customer Experience in Retail Banking is Sabotaged.
Okay.
And it's got 10 pitfalls, like a whole list of ways banks can mess up trying to make us, the customers, happy.
Right.
Perfect for those who love lists.
Exactly.
And for understanding why banking can feel like such a chore.
It really can be.
Sometimes.
Well, what I find fascinating is that this isn't about just making banking apps pretty.
Yeah.
This gets into the psychology, right? Like how we interact with financial institutions. We all have this idea that banks should be competent, right? That's the baseline.
Yeah.
So when they mess up the experience, it hits us differently than if some random online store is clunky.
Oh, totally. It's different because it's your money,
Yeah.
right? There's a higher level of expectation.
Yeah, there's trust involved.
Okay, so
Yeah.
pitfall number one they call brand disconnect.
Okay.
They use this example of a bank and their app rating tanked after a redesign.
Wow.
Talk about a backfire.
Yeah, that's not good.
So what happened there?
It's almost like they put on this fresh coat of paint, but they never fix the leaky pipes underneath, So the design, the visuals, maybe those were sleek.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't match the bank's brand
Right.
or how we expect to use a banking app, all that polish doesn't matter.
Makes sense.
The article talks about tailor-made digital banking CX engineering, and it sounds fancy, but really you got to build the app around two things: who the bank is and what makes sense for their customers.
So it's not just copying whatever the cool new fintech app is doing.
Right.
It's thinking about their customers.
Yeah, their specific users.
Which leads us to pitfall number two.
Hit me.
This one's called the curse of knowledge.
Oh, I know this one.
They use this analogy. It's like that friend who always uses inside jokes.
And everyone else is just pretending to get it awkwardly.
Exactly.
That's what banks do when they assume we all understand their jargon.
Banking lingo, yeah.
All the processes.
Wow.
Classic example, they'll use a term like APR in their app,
Yeah.
but they don't explain it.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
To them, it's basic knowledge.
Right.
To a customer, it could be what is this? Is this good? Bad? Should I panic?
I've been there just staring at the screen is this a good number?
Totally.
So empathy is key then, right?
Right.
How does a bank avoid this?
They got to get out of their own heads, and into the minds of the customers. So things like user interviews, surveys, looking at how people actually use the app.
Got it.
That helps you build a picture of what the customer actually knows, wants, struggles with. Then you design around that, not the bank's internal view of things.
It's like learning a new language. You got to speak their language.
Right.
Not expect them to be fluent in bankish.
Exactly.
Okay, pitfall 3 kind of threw me a curveball.
What?
It's false hopes. They're saying a great app doesn't mean success if the bank itself is a mess.
Oh, yeah. I bet you've seen this.
Oh, yeah.
You love an app, but the company behind it, nightmare.
Yes.
You can have the prettiest app, but if their customer service is terrible,
Right.
or their fees are outrageous, that good app experience doesn't last.
It's like putting lipstick on a pig.
Right.
Might look better, but still pig.
Oh, that's a good one.
So customer experience is bigger than just one shiny element.
It's the whole package.
Yeah. Okay. Pitfall number 4 is lack of expertise.
Okay.
It's tempting for banks to think, let's just hire a designer. Our app will be amazing.
Right. It's magic.
But this article is no, that's not how this works.
It's way more than that.
You need people who get design,
Of course.
but also finance,
Yes.
psychology, how people make decisions about money.
And not just general psychology, but the psychology of your customer.
All right. Different for everyone?
Huge difference between, say, how Gen Z uses money versus a baby boomer.
Makes sense.
And then you need people who understand the details of banking, the products, the regulations, security. It's a whole world.
So before you even sketch an app design,
Yeah.
you need this team
You need the team.
that brings all these pieces together.
Otherwise, you're setting yourself up to fail.
Yeah, big time.
It's like building a house, you
Yeah.
know? You need more than just a good architect.
Oh,
You got to have the skilled contractors,
Right.
the plumbers, electricians, all working together, or it falls apart.
That's a great analogy. And this leads to pitfall 5 and E6. The article kind of lumps them together.
Okay.
Funds deficit and strategic context.
Right.
So like some banks just don't get it. They'd rather be cheap than make things good for us.
Well, and that's the thing, right? It's not about just throwing money at the problem. It's making a choice, to put the customer at the center of everything you do. It's got to be baked into the culture, like from the CEO down to the teller at the window, everyone's got to get it.
So it's a mindset thing, not just a budget line.
Mindset, for sure.
Now, the article gets kind of visual here with this diagram. The problem-solution cycle in financial UX design.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It's like a roadmap for good customer experience, right?
It is. It breaks down the design process into these clear steps, and each step has its own tools.
Oh, okay.
And it shows how, like, if you have this structured approach based on what users need, what their pain points are, you avoid a lot of those pitfalls we were talking about.
It's like instead of just throwing random features at the app,
Exactly.
they take a step back and say, okay, what problem are we actually trying to solve?
Yeah.
And what's the best way to do that?
And the visual really highlights how you got to understand the customer's world, right? Both the stuff outside.
Like their life.
Their life, exactly. Their situation, what's going on around them, but also what's going on inside.
Emotions, all that.
Yeah, their emotions, motivations, goals. Because we forget,
What's that?
We're not robots just using these apps. We're humans with feelings.
Yes.
And frustrations and anxiety about money, all that.
Good design gets that.
It has to.
Speaking of, pitfall 7 kind of ties into this. It's bewitched by innovation.
Ooh, yeah, I feel like this one's especially relevant now with all the fintech stuff.
Totally. Everyone's chasing the next cool tech trend.
Right.
I can just picture it like a bank's obsessed with building a VR branch experience.
VR banking, yeah.
But their actual website, like, crashes if you click the wrong button.
It's so easy to get distracted by the shiny new thing,
Yeah.
But real innovation, it solves problems.
Right.
It takes the tech and it makes people's lives easier, more efficient, maybe even more enjoyable.
So before you jump on the AI chatbot bandwagon,
Please.
make sure your app doesn't crash every 5 minutes.
Focus on the fundamentals, then you can explore the bells and whistles.
Okay, pitfall 8, this surprised me. Ignoring the irrational. Because we think of finance as like all numbers, all logic.
Right, very rational.
But this article's like, nope, humans are not always rational.
Especially with money.
Exactly.
Our money decisions, they're tied up with emotions, biases, even stuff like our mood that day.
I never thought of that.
It's true. Like, there's that saying, right? We buy things we don't need
Oh, yeah.
with money we don't have to impress people we don't like.
It's so true.
Data can show what we do, but it can't always tell us why.
Deep.
So banks got to be careful. They can't just blindly follow the numbers without thinking about the human side.
Don't just follow the algorithm, try to understand the customer.
Exactly.
Okay, pitfall number 9, I think we've all experienced this. It's overfeaturing.
Oh, I know this one.
You open a banking app,
Yep.
and it's like a million options, features everywhere.
Too much, too much.
It's the paradox of choice, right?
Yeah.
Too much makes you freeze up.
You get overwhelmed. You don't know where to start.
And it comes from that curse of knowledge again, doesn't it?
It does. Banks think we want all these features because they understand them.
But for us, it's just noise.
It's like that drawer in your kitchen,
Oh, yeah.
full of gadgets you never use.
There's good stuff in there,
Right.
but it's so crammed, you just grab a spoon and call it a day.
Exactly. Banks should focus on the core needs.
Keep it simple.
Simple, intuitive, tailored to what people actually use.
Less is more, with apps at least.
For sure.
All right, final pitfall. Underestimating emotions. This kind of flips the script.
Oh, how so?
It's saying banks need to make us feel something.
Feel.
Yeah, which is weird, right? We don't usually think of banking as emotional.
Not like buying a car or something.
Right, it's just banking.
But even with banking, emotions are huge E.
Really?
Think about how you feel when you get hit with a confusing fee.
Oh, yeah.
Or you're on hold forever with customer service. That's emotional.
Ugh, frustrating.
That's what I mean.
Okay, but on the flip side, I bet you remember the times a bank surprised you.
In a good way.
Yeah, like a teller who went above and beyond.
Oh, yeah.
Or you got a really helpful email. That changes your whole view of them.
It does. Those little moments are powerful.
So that's what this pitfall's about.
It is. It's about saying, hey, emotions matter. Even in banking.
And actually designing for good emotions.
Make people feel valued, understood, maybe even a little delighted.
Okay, I like that. So we covered all 10 pitfalls, but before we go,
Yeah.
why does any of this matter? Like, big picture, why should we care?
That's the key, right? easy to get lost in the design weeds.
Mm-hmm.
But this stuff affects our lives.
What?
Almost everyone uses banks, so these experiences, they impact us.
In what way?
Our finances, sure,
Yeah.
but also stress levels, even just our overall satisfaction.
It's true. A good banking experience, it can save you time,
Absolutely.
lower your anxiety,
Yep.
make you feel more in control of your money.
And a bad experience, that can be the opposite.
Oh, for sure.
Frustration, confusion, even losing money if you make a mistake because things are unclear.
It's like the difference between driving a reliable car versus one that's always breaking down.
Perfect analogy.
And here's the thing. We have a choice.
We do.
We can choose banks that actually care about this stuff.
Right.
And by doing that, we're sending a message.
We are.
We value our time, our energy, not being stressed out.
We're voting with our wallets, basically.
Every time we pick a bank, we're saying what kind of experience we want to have.
That's a great way to put it.
So what can our listeners do with this information?
Well, first, be aware of these pitfalls.
Yeah.
Now you know what to look for.
Uh-huh.
So you can spot these patterns in your own banking.
Yeah.
If you hit a truly bad experience, don't just be quiet about it.
Speak up.
Exactly. Leave a review, send an email, whatever it takes.
Get their attention.
Banks need that feedback to improve.
Makes sense.
And on the flip side, if you have a great experience, share that too.
Oh, good point.
Let them know what they're doing, right?
Okay, so be active, not passive.
Exactly, because good design doesn't just happen. It's a choice. And by speaking up about what we need, we can push for better experiences for everybody.
And on that note, we want to hear from you all.
Yes.
Have you run into any of these pitfalls yourselves?
I'm sure some of you have.
What's one thing you wish banks would change to make things better?
Even a small thing.
Share with us on social media. We love hearing your stories.
It reminds us that behind all this design talk,
Yeah.
there are real people with real experiences.
Speaking of real experiences, let's wrap this up with a thought, something for you all to think about.
Okay.
Imagine you've got like a magic wand.
Ooh, magic.
You can change one small thing about your banking experience.
Right.
But it can't be some huge tech thing, just something simple.
Got it.
What would you change?
That's a good one. It makes you think about the little annoyances, you know?
Yeah, those everyday things.
Like for me, maybe it's when you get your statement and they list all the fees instead of it being buried in fine print.
Oh.
Just plain language, here's what this fee is for.
Right. Clear and simple.
No more decoder ring needed.
Or, I don't know, maybe it's when you log into your app. Instead of that generic welcome message, it's like, hey, your name, good to see you.
Oh, I like that.
Just something small, but it feels personal.
It's those little touches makes you feel like a human, not just an account number.
And that's really what it's all about, isn't it?
It is good customer experience. It's those moments of like...
connection.
Yeah, connection where things make sense. Maybe you even feel good about it.
Not just dreading dealing with the bank.
Exactly. It's like you're partners, not just, I don't know, adversaries.
Well said. So listeners, what's your magic wand moment? That one little change that would make banking, I don't know, almost enjoyable.
Share it with us on social media or, heck, tell a friend.
Keep the conversation going.
Yeah, because together we can make banking better, even if it's just tiny steps at a time.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone, into the world of retail banking customer experience.
It's been fun.
Sometimes frustrating, sometimes hopeful.
Always something to learn.
Until next time, stay curious, and we'll catch you on the flip side.